And I am with Patrick and Victoria today. Again, it's Thursday. You know it's that time. I'm
Mhm.
traveling, so I apologize if my visual or sound quality go out or I just drop. But I'm dedicated, and I had to do today's episode, even if it was on the road, because I am really excited about this episode because we talked about the importance of cigar, smoking a cigar, and we talked about the cigar swag. But now we're gonna break it down with my aficionados. We're gonna talk about what to drink with it. What can you pair with it? And I experienced this when I was doing some of my reviews. What you put with your cigar can change the whole taste and the whole experience. So
Mm.
without further ado, we're gonna go further into this with our experts. And number one, and we're gonna base this off the list that Victoria and Patrick gave us, the 5 cigars that's in our newsletter. If you have subscribed to our newsletter, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. So cigar number one, the Sweet Jane. Talk to me, Patrick and Victoria.
Well, sweet, I probably smoke that one a lot more than he does, but I really like the Sweet Jane for, like the sweetness. It's chocolate, vanilla, a little creaminess in there. Personally, I like adult beverages, so my go-to with the Sweet Jane is like a red wine, sometimes a sangria or a margarita. But for my non-drinkers, you can never go wrong with a coffee or a like a Dr. Pepper or a float, a cream
A
soda.
cream soda.
Anything creamy is really going to bring out the flavor. And the coffee, the dark roast, it's going to go great with the chocolate. It's like having an iced mocha.
Now, what about a cherry coke? I was curious last time when we talked about this in pairing, and I went smoke these cigars with a cherry coke, specifically Sonic's cherry coke, for you non-adult beverage drinkers.
Yeah, no, I think
What do you
cherry
think
coke
about
is
that?
Yeah. So I mean,
Now,
it's going to help like enhance those flavors. So like if you have chocolate in your cigar, vanilla, you're just going to enhance it, with the cherry and the Pepsi or the Coke, whatever you're pairing it with. It's usually going to enhance it, especially if it's a sweeter cigar. Whereas if it's a non-sweeter cigar, we can get into that later on.
Yeah, that's like I think the number two cigar, Olivia Master Blend. A lot of these go well with Dr. Pepper. And
Yes,
if you know anything about Dr. Pepper, it has like what 23 flavors in it.
23 flavors.
So if it goes with the Dr. Pepper, it's gonna go very cold.
wow, call that the Michael Jordan drink. Now, you mentioned red wine. Now, you mentioned red wine and you mentioned sangrias. Now, I'm a Merlot drinker. Maybe that might be a little too bitter for somebody. Somebody want to do a Cabernet. What would you say? Would you that's too much of a contrast?
No, I mean if you like the drier the red wine, it's just gonna the bitterness is gonna enhance the sweetness. So that contrast will work perfectly. I'm just not like a bitter type drinker in general, alcoholic or non. So I do sangria because that adds like the fruity sweetness to it.
Oh, did you catch it? Did I lose you for a second? You guys got my question, right?
No, we got the
Yeah,
question. Yeah, we answered it.
I think we all got cut off a bit.
Yeah, we got cut off for a second.
But that's
So
what we
yeah,
got our
I was
moderator in
just
there.
saying,
Sure, if I cut out, jump in there for a minute. Help us out.
yeah, no worries. Let's get into the Olivia.
Okay.
Yeah, the second cigar, the Olivia
Okay.
Master Blend. That one would go good with like a Cabernet or a Pinot Noir.
More.
Bitter. Anything bitter is gonna go good with like a sweet cigar. I know you've smoked the Olivia quite a bit.
Yeah. So the Olivia is, more of a still kind of a milder flavor. So with your milder flavors, you're gonna want a little bit of a kind of a bitter because it'll pop out those flavors just a little bit more. Because you gotta also remember like the bitter flavors, it kind of enhances the sweeter flavors and vice versa. Flavors enhances your bitter flavors. So just kind of going off that, you can usually find a good pairing for your cigar. And again, it's really what you
Personal preference.
personal preference because some of these cigars you're not gonna you're going to try once and go, I drunk something wrong with it. No, I mean,
Now with the Olivia, I guess the Merlot would probably go better with Olivia more than the Sweet Jane.
yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cause I spoke to Olivia, and yeah, it's a deep, richer type taste. So I could definitely see that with a coffee or something like that as well.
Oh yeah,
Now, what
absolutely.
type would you recommend a whiskey or a bourbon with that for the whiskey drinkers, the hard drinkers like me that drink brown?
So with something like that, probably like a single malt whiskey. It's going to bring out the more of the the barrel flavor from the whiskey, but it's also going to bring out your earthy flavor from the cigar. So if you're kind of into that earthy, kind of peppery kind of, it'll enhance that a little more. So if you're a bourbon drinker, try a single malt with it because it's a kind of a little bit on the more bitter side. Enhance those flavors just a little bit more.
Oh, wow. And what is that third cigar that's on the list?
That is the Johnny Tobacconist. This one
Johnny
is
Tobacconist.
yeah, we're taking a step up here more into the medium. And I think what's cool about this one, and I notice a lot of people do this, is they'll drink like the darker beers with it, like a stout, a porter, Guinness. Guinness probably be the number one that I see a lot of people drinking with these medium type cigars.
Guinness? Now that's interesting. Because if I remember from my review, the Johnny Tobacconist was more like the vanilla type flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, so it's right in the middle, right? So with the Johnny Tobacconist, you're gonna have your creaminess, your vanilla, your cocoa in there. So with that, I mean, because Guinness is a chocolate beer. I mean, that's pretty much what all stouts are, is a chocolate dark beer. So they're made from the same kind of tobacco, and they're kind of grown the same way. So it's just gonna play on it because with the sweetiness, the kind of, and it's a little heavy. Your Guinness drinks, it's a little heavier, so that cigar smoke will just feel that much lighter, especially being the medium smoke. It'll just feel a little bit lighter, and it'll enhance those little flavors that you might not pick up on, say if you're drinking a Dr. Pepper or a whiskey with it. It's just certain drinks will help with certain flavors, but I do believe that darker beers will bring out the most flavors in that because it just coincides very well.
And it looks cool, especially when you got your little glass. I got like a little cigar glass where I can stick my cigar in the side of it. I can feel it. It just makes my drink, and I love it. So it just looks so cool when you got the proper drinking. It really gives you that look of sophistication, and people think you like really intelligent. You look like really smart. You got the right pairing and the right cigar. It's like, oh, you know what you're doing, even if you don't.
Yeah.
And especially when you got the swag and everything to go with it, it is very appealing and looks good.
Yes.
Because even if you look at the picture of Scarface, in the picture he has a cigar, but he has his whiskey there.
Yeah.
And it just makes you want to drink. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. And so what are we going at with the fourth cigar? What was the fourth one on your list?
Oh, that's one of our favorites.
Yes.
That's the Liga Privada number 9.
Liga Privada.
Yeah, to me, this cigar is one. It's a celebration type cigar for us, and I don't know. I feel like it's very elegant and it's upright. So this is definitely one where you're going to want to have like a straight bourbon or scotch or whiskey. Just kind of like a sipping drink to have with this cigar, because you want to take your time with both the Liga and everything.
So I remember that cigar. I remember that was your anniversary cigar, and that was one of the first ones. One of the first or second ones I think I reviewed, and I knew when I drank it. I want to say with some Ellerton believe I had it with either Ellington or some Crown Royal.
Mm-hmm.
And it did pair nice. And then I did try it with some coffee because it's a deep, rich, if I remember, deep, rich, peppery type taste, and I guess with a little hint of chocolate in there. And I felt a little leathery taste in there, a little nutty. So I remember that, and it got powerful at the end. It started off with smooth, and as you got to the end, it got stronger. So it's definitely a mid to full body cigar. And you have to forgive me if I don't remember the specifics because I've been reviewing a lot of cigars lately, so they're getting jumbled up. So I know when I look at them in the different characteristics of some of them. And if you want to know about the Liga Privada, check out our video where I reviewed the Liga Privada and give us some thumbs up as well as this video. But yeah, I could definitely see that with a dark roast coffee, an espresso.
It goes
a
really
nice
with an espresso. Like if you do a hot espresso, iced espresso, personally, I like espresso martinis, but that's one of my go-tos with the Liga Privada.
And that's becoming what I say is becoming a popular cigar. I know I'm starting to see a lot about that cigar. One of my favorite cigar bars in the North Carolina area, I know they were advertising. They on their social media, they were talking about the Liga Privada.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean it's one of the it's literally the staple of the Drew Estate, state cigar line because that's their top of the line right now. It's the best cigar. And with the Privada number 9, it is, you want to take your time and you want to smoke it. And like how you said at the end, it does get more powerful. But the beauty of it is that you can have more than one drink with these cigars. So you can start off with a soda or, a rum and Coke or a Coke and whiskey, and then end it with a coffee just to help out with some of that bitterness. It'll just bring out the flavors more, especially towards the end, because as the cigar develops, the flavors do change a little bit. So it'll help out a little in the end.
Now, as we spoke before, a lot of females are getting into the cigar world, and some of them are smoking mid to full body cigars.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of females that I know of don't drink whiskey. They're not whiskey or bourbon drinkers. They are cocktail drinkers or they're vodka drinkers.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you could think of that may appeal to them if they're smoking a Liga Privada?
Espresso martini.
Yeah.
I really like pairing that. And I mean, honestly, if you're a vodka drinker, you can mix vodka with anything.
Cherry vodka sour.
Yeah, cherry vodka sour. Something you can add a little bit of sweetness to it with the Liga. Personally, I like to keep it a little bit stronger, so thus the espresso martini. Or I do like just like a semi-sweet red wine too. Normally, when I'm at home, I'll do like a Stella Rosa or not Moscato. Moscato is too sweet, but I'll do like a red berry or something like that.
Bailey's come to mind. That Bailey's Irish cream.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that, and maybe a White Russian.
Oh, a White Russian would actually go really good with that cigar. Think about it.
Yeah, it really would actually.
And if you're enjoying it in the wintertime, get some of that Bailey's with some hot chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's nothing like smoking a good cigar on a nice, cool fall night.
Yep.
With a good drink in your hand. Oh, I love it. That's probably the reason why fall is probably my favorite time of year.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's like sitting back and you're relaxing. I mean, that is the best feeling in the world. Just taking in the leaves are starting to change, and you're looking at the surrounding area and the beautiful scenery.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't beat that.
No,
not at all.
It's a great feeling.
It is.
And what is our fifth?
The next cigar?
So moving on to number 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's the Espinosa La Bomba, the Warhead.
Warhead X. So I know,
Yes,
Victoria doesn't do much.
that was my favorite cigar.
So this is more of the bold cigar. So this is probably the boldest on the list. It's going to be your peppery cigar. So what you want to do with that is you want to cut some of the peppers, and you want to cut some of that strongness from the tobacco with something a little sweeter. Now it doesn't mean you have to go straight up soda or a raw white Russian, but say a whiskey sour, because it has that little bit of sweetness, or even an old fashioned, because it has the sweetness, and it kind of breaks through that. You also get barrel aged stuff from the whiskey itself.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean you can't have it with the Dr. Pepper, because it goes with everything. Like we've said, sodas, diet sodas, any kind of flavored sodas. All these are going to go with that. Coffees will, because if you think about it, coffee's going to go with it because coffee's grown in the ground too. Tobacco's grown in the ground,
Yep.
so two things that grow in the ground, they should go great together. So, but yeah, with that, you definitely, it's a little bit harsher cigar. Females like it; they might actually prefer a sweeter wine with it. Moscato, cupcake, something like that. And again, it does develop in the end, so it does get stronger, like most of these cigars do. As they develop, they get a little stronger. And most of these cigars are going to be 2-drink cigars that you have. So you have one drink to start it off, might be or heavier, and then the second drink might be a little lighter, just depending on which way you go. But that's the beauty of it, because then you can try it out with 2 different drinks and see which 2 ways it goes. But with this one, yes, you're going to want a little bit of a sweet to break through the bitterness and the pepperness, but it does bring out those flavors. Pepsi will help bring out even the more earthiness in it and kind of push that pepper to back and bring out the creaminess that's in the cigar itself.
Now I can remember, I think I had that's when I had the cherry coke with. And that Espinosa, that bomber warhead was one of my favorite cigars, the one that I actually preferred over the Liga Privada. It was powerful, but much smoother to me all the way through the smoke. I also tried it with I had it with coffee, and I tried 3 different drinks. I mixed the drinks. Well, I didn't mix them, but I had one drink to see how it smoked, and then I tried like the cherry coke, and then I tried my favorite whiskey with it, and it didn't miss. I thoroughly enjoyed it with all 3 drinks. On my palate, it's definitely something that I would prefer, and I really enjoyed the Warhead.
Yeah,
And like I said, that became one of my favorite cigars.
It's a really good cigar. Too bad it's limited, and it only comes once a year. But yes, if you get a chance, get one, try it out, and literally compare it with everything, because it's on the higher end of the spectrum. And it'll just, like you said, try with different drinks, find which one works for you, and just roll with it.
So we have given our 5 cigars that's in our newsletter that we suggest that everybody try, from the beginner all the way to the experienced smoker. But now I want to tell you, is learning to pair your cigar with a drink a skill, or is it something you should just do trial and error?
I think it depends on the person, because it is very much a skill. If you go to like higher end cigar bars, you'll have like a wine sommelier, and then you'll have a cigar connoisseur, and they kind of work together to tell you, oh, have this wine with this cigar. So it can be very much a skill. However, for the everyday smokers such as ourselves, I'm all about trial and error, or whatever I feel like drinking at the time. The other thing is we've gone over a lot of sweet drinks. We've gone over a lot of, bitter drinks. Don't be afraid to do sour or tangy. Like I'm drinking a Red Bull right now. I have plenty of cigars with some Red Bulls, and those are tangy, but the tangy also enhances some of the older flavors for sure.
Yes.
I suffer from anxiety. If I smoke a cigar and drink a Red Bull, I don't know, I might crash, especially if I get to full body. I don't know, I would explode. That wouldn't work for me. But once you get the reviews, what I've learned is once I review and I get to the point where I can taste the flavors, you kind of know what will blend and go with them. And that's the purpose of why we do these reviews.
Yes.
So that's what you already know before you smoke some of these cigars, especially the five, and you read out you know which flavors to expect. So as you smoking your
Mhm.
cigar, and you know that this got a nutty taste or it's peppery, got caramel or vanilla type taste, so that you already know in prime when you get ready to order your drink that you might want to pair this with something a little sweeter, or no, this is bitter. I might want to sweeten this up a little bit. And this is the reason for some of our reviews. If you check out some of our earlier podcasts that we've done in reviews on the cigars.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, it's
what
definitely like it really goes like with on if you're trying to develop your palate, that's something you want to learn the flavors. Like, hey, this is what, and it's good just all around. Like, hey, I've tried this with this and it didn't work. But that's what these podcasts and these newsletters are for, and I'm sure they help out a lot of people as well. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. The community doing. I feel a community service. Therefore, everybody is educated with this experience because this is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is not something that you do once. Well, I mean, some people do once.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle in a community.
Mhm.
Unlike cigarettes, I mean, I've never seen a chain cigar smoker. It's just unpersonable when you just come out there. So you don't just come out there on your lunch break and just throw it
Yeah.
Yeah.
down. You got to sit down and you got to take your time with your cigar and get comfortable with your cigar. And you
Mhm.
want your nice drink. It's to relax you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You collect your thoughts about it. And pairing is just important because, like I said in the beginning, pairing the cigar with the right drink, whether it's alcoholic or non-alcoholic, can change the whole experience and the flavor of the cigar, and you'll be amazed. And
Yes.
Yeah.
I alluded to it in a few episodes. I know some people that actually even dip the tip of their cigar in different drink, whatever they're drinking. Have you had any experience doing that, Patrick?
So yeah, I mean, every once in a while, like if I know it's going to be a little bit of a more bitter cigar, I'll dip it in my whiskey or my whiskey sour. It does help with cutting, but it does give a little bit extra flavor. It doesn't enhance the flavor completely, but it does put a little bit in there where it's like, all right, I can tell, but it's something you have to want to do because it's not for everybody. But Arnold Schwarzenegger does it with every single one of his cigars. So I mean, if Arnie can do it, maybe you can try it out too. But I mean, it's like I said, it's just for if you really want to try something out, it does enhance it a little bit. It's not game changing, but it'll enhance it just enough for you to take a notice.
So when he dip, it's just a little dip in there and back up. It's not a dip.
He swishes it around, and it's before he cuts it. So with the cap still
Oh,
on,
okay. That's the thing before you cut it.
yeah.
That's a
So
nugget right there. Before you
yes,
cut it, I did not
yeah.
know that. Silly
So
me.
you dip it in there, you swirl it, then you cut it, and then the wet wrapper will help. With the wet wrapper and the heat coming from the front end of the cigar to help, evaporate that alcohol, but also give you the flavor of the cigar. So that's where you're getting that double kind of flavor from.
I know when I was in Cuba, they said dipping the cigar in honey would sweeten it up, but that can be a little messy.
Yeah, with honey,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know.
That's been my experience.
Yeah, I think honey would be a little tough.
Well, like I said, I was a couple of weeks ago when we did the podcast when I discovered that you're supposed to punch a sweet cigar, not cut it.
Mhm.
Yep.
But that's a little tip that I learned from YouTube, that I don't smoke a lot of cigars anymore, but I learned that tip now. So when I find someone else that's smoking a sweet cigar, it's like, okay, let me pull my punch out for you instead of a
Yeah.
Yep.
cut.
Yep.
You all go back and check that episode out. We talked about the cut of the cigar and how important the cut of the cigar was. And as always, if you guys are enjoying and finding value in this podcast, leave us some comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have you ever seen Patrick and Victoria out? Give them a thumbs up. Go walk up there, buy them a drink. Thank them for this information that they're putting out to us into the world. I'm really learning a lot, and it's really helping me step my cigar game up. Next one thing that I was in the cigar bar last week, and I noticed the difference, which I didn't understand. Why is it some places allow cigar smoke but don't allow cigars, and it's all tobacco?
Yeah.
And I guess the answer to that guy was, I guess it's the different licenses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some states require you have to sell a certain amount of alcohol over cigars or vice versa. So it's a little difficult getting some of those licenses.
So we might have to break it down in some future episodes.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
This has been very great teaching people how to pair. I recommend if you first learn your cigar. I guess that's the
Yes.
first step before pairing is pick your favorite cigar and learn what you like to smoke. In graduate, it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. I started out smoking fat bottom Betty's and acids. What is it? Chocolate acid. Yeah, that chocolate acid was my favorite cigar. It's like my friends was lighting up my father's, and I'm lighting up a little skinny little acid or what. When I first started smoking, or I tell them to get me their cheap, what they consider the cheap trash cigars as I started learning. And as I started to taste and build my palate up with the fat bottom Betty's and the acids, it got a little stronger. Okay, I need a little bit more. And you take your time with it because you don't want to start, if you're lightweight, don't start with a mid to full body right away. Take your time with it. Because I made that mistake. This is why I share this with you. I tried a full body once. I think it was a Maduro Champagne Anniversary Series?
Mm-hmm.
The blue, the blue Perdomo, yeah, with the blue and yellow label.
Yeah.
I tried that, and I paired it with Crown Royal, and it started off great until I got about halfway through the cigar, and it made me very sick. So take your time with the pairing and know your cigars before you start trying to pair. Get comfortable with your cigar first before you start adding your alcohol in there. And once you know the flavor and kind of blend in slowly, but you know how to mix and know what your palate can take and what your palate can handle and what it can't handle.
Yes, exactly.
Well, until next time, like I said, join our Discord. Check out our website at Lifestyle, www.Ali After5, Lifestyle After5. I apologize that I'm traveling, but I had to be here for this episode. And stay tuned because when I get to my destination, I might be trying out some of the local cigar bars there and doing some reviews. You never know where Ali may pop up in. Stay tuned. And I want to thank Victoria and Patrick again. As always, my personal and our lifestyle community aficionados.
Always
a pleasure.
Yes.
Till next Thursday, y'all take care and be safe out there.
Bye, guys. Bye.